So we are back with a brand new episode of Walkin Talkin with Tim. And today's guest is Rachael Mueller, not to be confused with Mueller, which I did think it was, by the way. Formerly Rachael Vaughn, because she's only been married for a month,
yes.
Right? And Rachael Mueller is the Community Relations Advisor, got that right?
Yes.
For Paulsboro Refining Company. Now, and it's actually also known as PBR, not to be confused with the beer. Please don't drink it. So, we don't want that, right? So take a quick minute and tell the world, exactly what it is that you do and what Paulsboro Refinery is doing these days.
Yeah, of course. So I am the Community Relations Advisor. I've been in the role for a little over a year now. So all of what I do truly is making sure community engagement, we are engaging with our community, supporting our community, and of course being a good neighbor to the communities that host us. And then Paulsboro, what we're doing right now, we of course had the partial shutdown back in 2020, and we now have a partial restart of that shutdown, so we've been able to bring a good number of employees back. So we
Good
are
news.
happy about that, bringing back ultra low sulfur diesel to the market, and of course doing our normal operations with other petroleum products.
And you said you have a sister company in Delaware.
We do, our Delaware City refinery.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they do exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. So that merger in 2020 has allowed the two refineries to work more cohesively.
So that just took
Yes.
place, that merger?
2020.
I did not know that.
Yep, so it was the end of 2020 in October.
So I knew you were connected, but I didn't know it was just that recent.
Yep, it just allowed us to work a bit more cohesively. We help them out, they help us out, and
That's
we
pretty cool, right?
work with them. Yep.
So, and let's start right there. You just got married.
Yes.
That's
we did.
very cool, right?
Yes.
And you did it in a really cool place.
We did.
In a very cool way.
Yes.
So let's just exploit
Talk
that.
about
Why don't we
that.
just throw that out there?
So yes, so got married in Utah. We got married in Zion National Park. It was practically an elopement. We had 17 guests. They flew out, and we housed them in this massive. I don't want to call it log cabin. It was like a huge lodge.
Yeah, it's cool.
And we were able to stay there for 4 days with all of our family, friends, and loved ones. They were able to mingle and meet each other. Some hadn't met each other yet. And then we got married within the park in Zion National Park. And the day before we got married, we actually hiked Angel's Landing with a handful, the good bit of our wedding party actually, and then only a handful came up with us. But that was a lot of fun.
Right. So, well, let's just jump right into that too, because you said one of the things that you think is the most fun thing that you do is hiking.
Yes, love hiking.
And you also said that one of the most dangerous things you've done, was it hiking that one?
Yes, hiking Angel's Landing, and then hiked Half Dome in Yosemite National Park.
So you said Angel's Landing is pretty dangerous, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's killed 15 people in 20 years, so it's
Not a good thing.
It's not awful.
That's kind of
Look,
kind of scary. I mean,
but it wasn't. It was actually, most of it was at the top. To be honest, they backed up too far off of the top, and then they fell off that way. So
Oh my
really,
God.
Angel's Landing, you have the chains that you hang on to, and
Right.
So
I've never seen this stuff.
not a whole bunch of people have fallen off from the chains. So
A lot of people have talked to me about Mount Zion, and I hear it's absolutely amazing.
Zion National Park is absolutely phenomenal. That's why we got married there. We went there in 2019, absolutely fell in love with it. Just the landscape and the history, of course, has such an amazing native history. And that was where we first hiked Angel's Landing, and that was when my husband knew that he was going to marry me, actually.
Uh-oh. There you go.
In his words.
John.
Yes,
John, right?
John, yes. Yep.
So you and John met, was it in college? We talked about it. I said college,
Yeah.
you said no.
Yeah, so
Where'd you meet?
he actually messaged me on social media.
Really?
So he has plenty of hobbies.
Just talked for an hour and I didn't get that?
So I like to, I like to say he slid in my DMs on Instagram. So, we were 21, 22, and he has plenty of hobbies. He is a man of many hobbies, jack of all trades, and one of his was photography. And we actually had some mutual connections with the job I had at the time. And I looked at his profile, I was like, he seems safe. So, he's not, and he wasn't creepy. So I was like, sure. So we went on.
But you were in college at the time.
I was in college at the time.
That's what I was confusing with.
And we went out on a date, and the rest is history, and moved in like 3 months later with him, and we've been together for a little over 5 years and been married for a month.
Yeah, you said it went pretty quick.
Yeah, of course, time flies when you're in love, you know?
Yeah, you gotta love that, right?
Yeah.
So, and you guys, what do you say? You told me you live in
Delaware, in Newark, Delaware.
Newark, that's it.
Yes,
So your family's from Delaware.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's go through that. So you have some serious like history, lineage.
Serious Delaware roots.
Delaware roots. So your great grandmother had a house in Bethany, right? It's right outside of Bethany.
Right outside Bethany, yeah.
And it was built in like 1850?
1850.
And
Yep.
so you think it was either 3 to 4 generations?
3 to 4 generations. My great-grandfather was born there, so it's at least my great-great-grandparents. My great-grandfather was born and died there on his birthday, which was a little freaky, but and my grandmother passed away in the same house as well.
Wow.
So it's been a staple for about 170 years, and so it was those were the roots down in southern Delaware, and then lots of born and raised in Delaware, Newark, Delaware myself.
Right.
And yeah, so lots of Delaware roots. My husband works at our sister refinery in Delaware City.
Cool.
He is a operator there, so he's out in the field.
John.
John.
Shout out to
Yep.
John.
Shout out to John. He is out in the field every day, and it's seeing the work that he has done over the years just makes me so appreciative for all the work that all of our employees do at PBF Energy. It's
Now,
phenomenal.
another cool thing you told me, which I thought was actually really interesting, is that John's essentially your muse. You said he's your rock.
Yes, he
It's
is.
your words were, he's my
Yes.
rock.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that, because I like this.
Well, I have to say, you know, as a community relations advisor, you know, it's a lot of interpersonal connections. I do a lot of feeling and lots of emotion and intuition, and it's a very wonderful, caring side to me, and I'm very blessed that I have a position where I can, that encourages that. And for him, being in, you know, working as a union worker out in the field, everything's very mechanical, everything's very logical.
Right.
So it's a different mindset, you know. So
Yeah.
everything that it's very scientific, and that is something that I love about
Yeah,
him.
like it
And
works or it doesn't, right? You know?
It works or it doesn't. It's a yes or it's a no.
Yep.
And it's extremely logical. So he really is my rock to allow me to balance in that sense. And he's
But you said
phenomenal.
you go
He's
to
very
him with a
grounding.
lot of stuff.
He's very grounding.
And he's very grounded. You do a
Yes.
lot of stuff, and you pretty much, you're like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, oh, 100%. Ever since, like,
That was the
literally-
part that I thought was interesting.
Literally, all the time, he's right about everything. And we joke about how right he is, because everyone thinks the woman's right. No, I think I've been like, right.
Not
I'll
with you guys.
I'll joke with him. Anytime that I am right, which is on the very rare occasion, I will literally joke with
You need
him.
to
I'm
write
like,
this down.
one is Rachel, and then, 1,075,000 is Jonathan, because I barely get him anymore. But, at some point, you just accept it.
So your parents have a cool story too. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
So your parents have a really cool love story, right?
Too.
You said that your dad and your mom went on, was it a blind date?
They went on a blind date. Yes.
And
a blind
then
double date.
and then
Yep.
tell that story. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so my parents back in 1981, my mom was actually 18 and my dad was 21, and they went on a blind double date. So both of their best friends were dating each other, and they said, we need to go on a double date in order for our parents to let us out. So they brought each of them, my mom and my dad, together. My dad lived in California at the time, and he was visiting his family here on the East Coast. He had to leave the next day. Basically, they went on one date. My father fell in love with my mom immediately. It was love at first
Love
sight.
at first sight. Yep.
Love at first sight. He flew back to California. Of course, this is the 80s, so they can't text or
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
DM or anything like that. So he flew back the next day. He had a girlfriend back in California. He broke up with her, and she was angry about that. She was very angry about that. And
And he started the plan, right?
yeah, and then they had a long distance relationship for about a year. My dad proposed after about a year, and they got married, a year after that. So they were together for 2 years, long distance, love at first sight, and yeah. And
And
then
here
they
you
went
are.
to Southern California, and I've always joked with them that they couldn't have had me. They waited a while to have me. They couldn't have had me. I couldn't have been in California.
Oh,
They
yeah,
moved
right.
back, and then they had me.
Be a Southern California girl, right?
I could have been a California girl, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, everything happens for a reason,
It
right?
does.
So you went to Wilmington University.
Yes, I did.
You spent a couple months at Delaware University. Wasn't a fan. You weren't a fan of that.
Did not like, no.
Back
didn't
to
like University.
so
No.
so Wilmington University was your home, right?
Yes, loved
So you
it.
loved it there. And so after that, right? You went right into working for, you told me, like, I think a law firm, right?
I did. So I did marketing, HR, and PR. I was the assistant director for a personal injury law firm in Delaware. Shout out Kimmel Carter, Roman, Peltz, and O'Neill. They are Delaware's largest personal injury and workers' compensation law firm. They
Is that
are
right?
awesome. I know people don't really like personal injury attorneys, but they're fantastic. So phenomenal group of attorneys, just great people. And they give back to their community as well, which was wonderful to be a part of. Even during the pandemic, we still did what we could. I did a 52 Weeks of Giving initiative. So
Wow.
that was really what kind of kickstarted my love for community engagement. And it was really encouraged and fostered there as well. They have a wonderful charitable side to them as well.
And you said you love your dog, your husky.
Yes, yes.
Arrow is the
Arrow.
dog's name,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, and he was actually named after, my husband works at they have units in refinery, so each unit does a specific thing within the chemical process of refining
Right.
oil products. And so his unit is called Aeromex, and we named our dog Arrow
Yep.
after Arrow and Aeromex.
And John, we've decided that
No,
your
we
next
love- we
your
love-
next dog is going to be called Axe, by the way. So
gonna
you're
be
Axe and Arrow.
Yep, yes, we have figured that out. But
We
you
got
can
that
tell
figured out.
we love our jobs.
You got that figured
You
out.
name your own pets after your workplace.
Absolutely. So listen. So here's something I want to. This is my big question for you today.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about music, so you don't have a specific, like anything 2010.
Anything 2010, yeah, really. And then I can do the oldies, I can do jazz, I can do country, anything. But my main girl, my number one is Christina Aguilera.
There you
Always
go.
has. She is my girl.
And
I
she's
love her
really good.
endlessly.
I would have to
She's
agree. She's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I love her to death.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
So your advice to the upcoming young professionals, as you are a successful young professional,
Thank you.
you know, you're
Thank
doing well. I mean, I've known you for a little while now, and I get the impression that things are going real well for you. You love
you.
your job.
Do.
And obviously, Paulsboro Refinery feels the same way, right?
Yes.
At least
hope
we,
so.
at least we
Yeah.
hope. At least we hope so.
I've been told they do,
Just-
so we're good.
Yes, it's good. It's good stuff. So, what's your advice to the upcoming young professionals as you're about to go to an event tonight for young professionals?
Yes, we do have our young professionals. We have a mentor mixer tonight at Adelphia, but it's multifaceted. Never be afraid to humble yourself. You know, we are capable and we are strong, and we have a lot to bring to the table. But sometimes reality it hits, and we have to be okay with that, to humble ourselves and to want to really put our nose to the grindstone and look at the bigger picture of what can be stepping stones for us and what can we learn within what we may be doing now that maybe you know, it's a learning experience or something that, you know, it's not where our end game is, and that's okay. What
Take
can
it
we
to the
learn
next
from
click.
it? And what can we learn? What are the lessons that we can learn, and how can we hone wisdom? And I think another thing is really learn from people. So many people in my life, I said I had like 5 work moms, right? so many wonderfully successful, you know, coworkers that I have really mentored me, and people want to help the older generation. They want to help us, they want to uplift us, and to really take advantage of that. But for myself personally, it's part of an integrity is that I have a drive to be successful out of respect for the energy that these
All the
women and
mentors
these
put into
people
you.
have put into me,
Right.
and it's my duty to do my best to be driven to be successful in order to honor them in that way. So I think a lot of humility and integrity comes a part of that, to make sure that you have that.
It's great stuff. So, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Usually I just like to say my cell phone. It's easier. I always have it on me. So, but my work phone, you can always call me 856-224-4354 or by my email, which is rachel.mueller@pbfenergy.com. I am the main person, so community engagement, community relations, but I am the person that you call. If maybe the refinery isn't smelling like roses and flowers today, you know, if you have anything where you would like to contact me, I am that contact person. If you have any insights or comments
There you go.
about what we're doing.
Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
And to all of you out there who are watching and following, I appreciate you. Follow me on Instagram. Keep on moving, keep on walking, and we will see you next time on Walkin' and Talkin' with Tim.
Bye, guys.